Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. In recent years, Apple has accelerated the transfer of its industrial chain to India. According to relevant statistics, the Apple iPhones produced in India accounted for about 7% of the global total last year. This year, India will produce Apple's new iPhone 15 at the same time as China. Production in India started only half a year after production in mainland China, which shows that Cook attaches great importance to production in India. However, news came that Cook had completely miscalculated. Half of the iPhone 15 produced in India was returned. Foreign media said that Apple cannot do without the mainland. Everyone knows that Foxconn, Apple's official foundry for iPhones, undertakes the assembly of most of Apple's mobile phones. With a strong management system and a large number of high-quality labor forces in mainland China, Apple's global business development of mobile phones is supported. It is the mainland's complete industrial chain support that enables Apple products to be delivered to all parts of the world in a timely and high-quality manner. However, Cook seems not to be satisfied. In addition, the United States has continued to increase chip restrictions in recent years and has also added Huawei, SMIC, and other Chinese companies to the Entity List. Therefore, he is worried that Apple will also receive the same treatment, so he has accelerated the industrial chain. Move outward. Under this circumstance, India has become one of the important migration destinations for the Apple industry chain. On the one hand, India's population has grown rapidly in recent years, the labor force is relatively cheaper, and the growth potential of the Indian mobile phone market is not small, so it has been favored by Apple. On the other hand, India is also learning from China. In order to achieve rapid rise, it is vigorously developing the electronics industry. It has introduced many preferential policies and provided subsidies to attract foreign companies to invest and build factories, which provides convenience for Apple to transfer its industry. Under Apple's supervision, Foxconn, Pegatron, Wistron and other manufacturers have successively built factories in India to assemble iPhones locally. As Apple continues to operate, the number of Apple iPhones produced in India is increasing. It is said that last year, India's production accounted for 7% of the global total. For this reason, not only India was extremely excited, but Cook also began to pay more attention to it. In the past, new iPhone products were first produced and supplied in mainland China, and production began in India a few months or half a year later. Later, the gap became smaller and smaller. This year's new iPhone 15 has begun to be produced simultaneously with mainland China and supplied to the world at the same time. As a result, a problem that Cook did not expect arose. Previously, the volume produced in India was relatively small, and India could digest it locally. Now that supplies are beginning to be supplied globally, problems arise. There have been reports from overseas that the quality of Apple's Indian assembly plant is worrying. Quality engineers have returned half a box of iPhones, which means that half of the products have quality problems. This situation has been confirmed again recently. News shows that Europe conducted a strict test on Apple mobile phones produced in India and selected 100 units for testing. The result was that the pass rate was only 34%, and 66 mobile phones had various problems. As a result, European consumers refused to accept iPhones produced in India, and it was said that the products had been returned by Europe. But it's not over yet. News shows that in order to calm the mood of European consumers, Cook decided to supply iPhones made in China to Europe, and then transferred iPhones made in India that Europe rejected to mainland China. Is this operation too much? Apple CEO Cook claims to value the mainland market, but he never seems to treat mainland users fairly. In the past, compensation for problems with Apple phones was only provided to foreign users, and mainland users were double standardized. Now they have done this again. Apple seems to be keeping a low profile on this issue, so some netizens discovered that the iPhone purchased online was made in India. It can be seen that Apple seems to use a mixture of mainland and Indian products in mainland China. In this case, mainland users will have to rely on luck when purchasing. So, can mainland users tolerate it? Although they are all Apple fans, they don't seem to accept it. Because no one wants a curry-flavored iPhone. After all, the quality of products produced in India cannot be compared with those made in mainland China. Apple had previously sent engineers to India to guide production, but reality made them understand that it would take a long time for India's assembly level to improve. Therefore, netizens began to think of boycotting and decided to return the products directly if they purchased products made in India. Not only are mainland users unacceptable, but even many Indian users cannot accept iPhones made in India, because Apple has always been known for its high quality, but the yield rate of iPhone cases produced in India is only 50%, let alone mobile phones with high assembly precision. In this regard, some foreign media directly stated that Apple Cook completely miscalculated this time. Although the price of Indian assembly is more favorable, no one wants it. As a result, I am afraid that Cook is also helpless. Therefore, Apple cannot do without the mainland after all, and the transfer will eventually fail. Nowadays, Huawei mobile phones have begun to accelerate their return. Apple